Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news this Friday the 12th of June 2020. A week from today we'll be playing Spurs. Football's back. It's exciting and we've got lots of exciting stuff to get into today. We'll be talking about Van der Beek, Perisic, Sancho, Koulibaly and a load of other stuff. I've got loads to get through. It's a Friday treat because we spoke about so much about Bellingham on last night's show. If you didn't watch the show last night, very interesting about Bellingham. Apparently he's going to Dortmund. Lots of discussion about that. Really good show. Check that out on the homepage. But there was a few things I needed to talk about last night that I've pushed back for today. So let's fly into it. So Mundo Deportivo are saying that Manchester United are very close to signing Van der Beek. They're leading the race and they want to get the deal done very quickly at the start of the transfer window. Mundo Deportivo is not an outlet that I would say has massive credibility. However, they've also come out with a story about Thomas Partey, saying that Thomas Partey wants to stay at Atletico Madrid. Now, what pricked my ears up a little bit about this is that I spoke about this probably in February, that Partey wants to stay at Atletico Madrid. I can't remember who was saying it at the time. I certainly wasn't told it, but it was coming from somewhere credible that Thomas Partey wanted to stay at Atletico Madrid. And since then we've had Arsenal. He wants to go to Arsenal and all this stuff. But reality is, I think he wants to stay at Atletico Madrid. So it's interesting that Mundo Deportivo were reporting that in the last couple of days. And that they're also talking about Van der Beek and Manchester United. Now, it doesn't mean that they're credible. They could have a little bit of information that's correct and a little bit of information that's not. But Mundo Deportivo, if you don't know what they are, and the way that the press works in Spain is you've got certain outlets that sort of, I wouldn't say work, but a pro Real Madrid and a pro Barcelona. Mundo Deportivo would be a Barcelona outlet. AS and Marca obviously would be Real Madrid outlet. So what would Mundo Deportivo's knowledge be of Van der Beek to Manchester United? Well, I don't really know, because they would they want to goad Real Madrid into action to go and sign Van der Beek? Maybe there is something in that. It doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense. However, let's not forget that Barcelona traditionally have very good connects with Ajax. So have they discovered something through those connects that Van der Beek is close to a Manchester United move? I don't know. I knock it out there because it's a story that is of interest. And look, as I've said before, I don't believe that we're in for Van der Beek. I think this is all about giving Real Madrid a kick up the backside to do the deal that Van der Beek wants and Ajax wants, which is to sell him to Real Madrid, knowing full well United aren't in for him. And we're just being used yet again as an option for that. That's what I believe. However, look, if we sign Van der Beek, I will be very happy. So, look, let's see what happens with that one. Marco Timmer said we are in for Van der Beek. Tier 2 for Ajax, says Gustav Hagendal. There you go. Also, what's quite interesting, and I just need to clear this one up, is there's a lot of people have been talking about Fati from Barcelona and Manchester United offering. I can categorically say this story is a load of rubbish, and I'm very surprised that people are giving it any airtime. I mean, what's next? We're going to talk about Messi signing a 50-year deal with United, or maybe Ronaldo's going to come back. It's absolute nonsense. For one, Barcelona don't want to sell him. For two, his release clause is huge. For three, Manchester United are not in for him. It's, I suppose the more you do this, the more irritated you get. It's all right to talk about certain transfers, but there's got to be a level of credibility to it. And it can be very low credibility. We can almost mock it, and that's what we're doing with this one. But I mean, it does get frustrating in a transfer window that's so pivotal for Manchester United that we are wasting time talking about a deal that's impossible. And that would be Fati from Barcelona to United. And I'd also chuck in Saul Niguez. And I would also chuck in Havertz. I think these are impossible deals for United to do. Mark Duncan's Hassels, quoted in the Express today, said his agent is reminding Madrid that other clubs are interested. There you go. Well, I think that makes sense, Joshua. I really do. Just a little bit on Sancho, actually. I read this just before I came live. This is coming from The Telegraph. They're saying that, I don't like this story. I'm not going to believe it. So I'm not going to be too critical of United, because I'm still a little bit critical that we've not gone in the race for Werner and potentially lost the race to Bellingham. But Telegraph are saying that Manchester United are scared that Sancho's fee may be too expensive, so they may need to look at other options. And there was also mentioned that they're a bit worried about his attitude because of his fine because of a haircut, which is interesting because is there such thing as coincidence? Some people there is, some people there isn't. I mean, we spoke about this yesterday morning because Michael Zorg, the Dortmund chief sporting director, had openly spoken about how challenging Sancho can be off the pitch at times for the things that he does. And then we get a story in UK press, in the Telegraph, talking about United being a bit nervous about his attitude and nervous about his price. And I thought, oh, you know, this is... Are we going to start to see this now? Are we now going to start to see United moving away from this deal for reasons that are a load of rubbish? You know, do not do this. If Manchester United Football Club think they can PR spin their way out of a Sancho deal and people are going to go, yeah, you're right, he got fined for a haircut, he's real trouble, he is, that's not going to work. I mean, imagine if they don't sign Sancho because he had his haircut in lockdown, but they do sign Grealish, who deserted his car in lockdown at the start of lockdown and was reportedly... under the influence of something when he did that and left his car in the middle of a road. Like, you know, you can't have one and you can't have the other. You know, I don't think having a haircut in lockdown is as bad as deserting your car in a road. But what my point is that you've got to be very careful when these stories start. Is it a retraction move from United because they realise they can't get him? I don't think it is. But we need to be keeping an eye on those sort of stories because... I don't like those sort of stories. Ooh, he might have an attitude problem. Ooh, he's a bit expensive. Let's have a look at other options. I mean, that's just that's the mentality of a loser. That is the mentality of the loser. We're back in Goldbridge's nightclub again, and you walk into the nightclub, and there's a couple of beauties there. I'm not gonna be gender specific because, you know, in this day and age, why would I? Although for me, it would probably be a girl. For some people, it might be a boy. Whatever. The point is, you walk into Goldbridge's hypothetical nightclub, there's the girl or boy of your dreams, or whatever it is. And there is somebody who's just average. I'm not being look specific here, I'm just saying they might be the person of your dreams because they've got a t-shirt saying I love Star Wars on it. Who knows? Not necessarily about how they look. And the one that's not so great could be I love Star Trek, which you don't really like. Anyway, instead of going for the one of your dreams, you go, ooh, there's a bit of competition for them. Look, he's got a nice face, or he's got a nice pair of shoes on. Oh, I can't be bothered with that. I'll go for them. Nobody's interested. And you know what? Star Trek's not that bad. And that's what United must not do. That's what they must not do with Jadon Sancho, because if you want to be a winner, don't go for the cheap option. Don't do that. Go for Jadon Sancho. And Manchester United, everybody knows they want Jadon Sancho. All our rivals know we want Jadon Sancho. All our fans know we want Jadon Sancho. All the press know we want Jadon Sancho. We can't retract out of this now because he had a haircut in lockdown. We can't do that. We've got to go ahead. So I don't believe this story in the Telegraph, but let's just keep an eye on this over the next few weeks and see if any more of this comes out. Because the way football works, whether it's Arsenal, Chelsea or anybody else like that, you can feed information out into the press to start to dictate the story you want. And if we start to see more and more of United don't like the look of Sancho because of his attitude off the pitch or the price or anything like that, you can probably start to predict where these stories are coming from, if they're coming from numerous people, and also where they're coming from. But I don't believe that. I think United are all in for Sancho, and I think that's what will happen. But let's just keep an eye on that. United, you need to get that deal done. I mean, I think it defines what you want to be as a football club over the next 3 years. Do you really want to win a title? Or are you going to go and sign somebody like Matundo and we're going to be fighting with Arsenal for mid-table matters for the rest of our bloody lives? Anyway, so that's the little bit on Sancho. Also a little bit on Koulibaly. This was coming out of Italy, basically saying, you know, there's always been this talk about Koulibaly, Manchester United, 100 million euros. You know, you can put that in the drawer with Fati, Niguez, Havertz. Koulibaly is in that drawer of it's never going to happen. However, we could open that drawer and take Koulibaly out and close the drawer on everyone else. Make sure it's well ventilated. I don't want them to be, struggling for air. So we'll leave it a little bit open, but you're impossible. So we take Koulibaly out and we bring him to Manchester United. And the only way this can happen is if this sort of story that's coming out is true from Italy, that Napoli could accept as low as 70 million euros. I mean, you say as low as. I mean, it's still bloody expensive for a centre back. But we did just pay 90 million euros for Harry Maguire, 80 million sterling pounds. So 70 million euros for Napoli for Koulibaly would be about 60 million pounds, which, to be honest, is probably what I always predicted he would go for. And I think certain clubs would prick their ears up at that. I don't know whether United would. I don't know whether United would go for Koulibaly for 60 million. I certainly would. I think Koulibaly for 60 million is not a bargain. I think it's a fair price. But I still don't feel that United are in for him, but I'll mention that there. I think the only way Koulibaly or Havertz or Saul Niguez come to Manchester United is if the price comes down massively and they're adamant that they want to come to United, and I don't think those things will happen. Please do share the video if you're watching live. Smash a like on the video as well. In Germany, barbers have been open for a month, so it's not a crime of the century. Let's not label a successful teenager as bad like the media did with Sterling, says Joshua Harper. Well, I've purposely not gone down what you said there, Joshua. I did omit a word, not because of anything. I just don't think that we need to start, making it about the colour of somebody's skin, because that would be very unfair on whoever's reporting it and the connotations of that story. I don't anybody's saying that people don't want to sign Jadon Sancho because of the colour of his skin. So I've purposely left that out, Joshua, because I think that there's no evidence of that, and if there was, it would be disgusting. But the attitude issue of Jadon Sancho, which let's not forget, started from Michael Zorc in Dortmund. He said he's exceptional on the pitch, but also off the pitch sometimes he causes us problems. That came from Dortmund. That doesn't come from Manchester United. It didn't come from the British press. So let's not forget that's where it came from. And also, let's not forget what I said yesterday. If you want to jump on the side of whether Sancho's got an attitude problem or not, you jump on the fact that he clearly has a very strong attitude, because it takes a very strong attitude to take yourself out of Manchester City as a very young teenager, go to Germany to develop your career, when you could have done what Foden's done at Man City and have little cameos on a good wage in the city that you live, in the country that you were born in, comfortable. Jadon Sancho went, no, I'm better than that. I ain't sitting on the bench for Sterling and Sane and Silva. I'm better than that. I'm going to Germany. That shows a very strong, driven, ambitious attitude. That doesn't show a lazy, I can't be asked, I've got a big ego. And ultimately, a big ego is not a bad thing in football anyway, if it's channeled the right way. Look at Messi, look at Ronaldo. They've got big egos. Fantastic players. Let's also talk about Perisic for a moment. Now, this Perisic story is because Perisic has been on loan at Bayern Munich this season, and I almost forget because he doesn't start. He comes on, a very, very good player. United have been linked to him. I mean, it's just, we ain't in for Perisic. Let me just say, I may as well just say that. We're not in for Perisic, but we have been mentioned as admirers of Perisic, as has Spurs. And that's your story. Mourinho's an admirer of Perisic. Manchester United are not an admirer of Perisic. Not in the context that they would sign him. We don't want Perisic. It's the same as Milinkovic-Savic. It's probably the same as Koulibaly. These are Mourinho targets. Mourinho wanted Perisic at United. Mourinho wanted Milinkovic-Savic, and Mourinho wanted Koulibaly. We even bid for Koulibaly. I mean, if Mourinho had got those three players, maybe Mourinho would still be here, but that would probably be a bad thing because Martial and Rashford probably wouldn't. But that's by the by. Lukaku would still be here. Fellaini would still be here. But we're not in for Perisic. And we shouldn't be in for Perisic because Perisic should have come to United 3 years ago under Mourinho. And United bottled it and didn't get the player that I think would have made us a better team. But we're not in for Perisic. But some people might read that out today that we are in for him, which isn't true. What else? Havertz, we've spoken about. Fati, we've spoken about. The Standard, I mean, look, this is interesting, isn't it? Because the Evening Standard last night were talking about how confident Manchester United are that they're going to sign Sancho. And then, this morning you get a little bit about the Telegraph saying that Manchester United are a little bit concerned about signing Sancho. Look, as I said at the start of the show, the point remains this. Manchester United are going to be playing a football game next week. We've got a really good video coming up for you this afternoon. I'm really excited about it. You know the video where I do the voiceovers and everything? You're going to love the video this afternoon. Just make sure you subscribe to the channel, bottom right-hand corner if you haven't, and click the bell to get your notifications, because this video this afternoon about Pogba and Bruno and how it's going to work will open your mind up and get you... If you're excited about football being back next Friday for United, you'll be very excited after this. In fact, I'm almost tempted to put it back to next week because it seems unfair to show you this video this afternoon and still make you wait a week for Manchester United. But that's coming out this afternoon, so please subscribe if you're new because we're very close to 705,000. We're only about 100 away, so we could hit that by the 8 o'clock show tonight. But Manchester United are playing today, so hopefully by the 8 o'clock show, in fact I'm pretty sure because I know where I'll get the information from, we will know the scores. I think the United are playing West Brom twice today. Why it can't be on the telly, I don't know. Why it can't be on MUTV, I don't know. I don't get the secrecy of these friendly games. I mean, in the pre-season, we put them on the telly. We go on tour, we put them on the telly. We play in Norway, we put them on the telly. We put them on MUTV. Why can't we put the West Brom game on TV? It'd be great Friday afternoon viewing. But we are playing West Brom this afternoon, United. I think we're playing them twice. So we'll know a lot about that by the 8 o'clock show tonight. And we are getting close. Very, very close. Jake Willow says, new piece of news on Jamie McLaren to Manchester United. Great. And Aishan Pundi says, if we land up signing Bellingham, I believe we risk losing Gomez. Believe in us. A 16-year-old from Birmingham over a player who came through the academy. Yeah, but they're totally different players, Ishan. I think, again, look, I'm not going to get into this. It's too early. But I think that people start to create these fantasies, and I've seen them over the years. The one I always use is that Manchester United are Herrera. When Van Gaal didn't used to pick Herrera, it was because he's going to keep him back for the next game, and then it was the next game. People always want to find an excuse. The comparables to Jude Bellingham and Angel Gomez are absolutely irrelevant. It's like comparing Marcus Rashford and Scott McTominay. They're different players. Like, Bellingham is a holding box-to-box midfielder. Angel Gomez is an attacking player. That's what he is. So to say, oh, let's not get Bellingham because it might force Gomez out, they're different players. So that's an irrelevance. It's like what we were saying last night. Oh, we're not going for Bellingham because we're letting Dortmund have him so that we can have Sancho. You're totally missing the point of the most important person here is not United and it's not Dortmund. It's what Bellingham wants. Nobody's going to pick up the phone to Bellingham and say, can you go to Dortmund? I know you want to come to United, but can you go to Dortmund because we want Sancho? It's people come out with statements without thinking sometimes. I do it. We all do it. But like Bellingham and Gomez are irrelevant. Look, the bottom line is, I had somebody attack me on Twitter last night saying, you're talking out your arse. What evidence have you got that we're even in for Bellingham? And I just went online, got the picture of Bellingham driving out of Carrington, quote tweeted it and left it. Because I'm like, look, I don't always get everything right, but a lot of what I try to do is based on evidence, whether it's something I've been told, something that's in the press, or something that's factual. And the reality is, Manchester United factually want to sign Jude Bellingham, and if they don't get Jude Bellingham, they've lost out. Stop trying to dress up a loss with a bit of icing and salt and pepper or whatever. You can't season a loss. It's a loss if we don't get Bellingham. And as I said last night, you just got to deal with it. IG2, welcome to the United Stand Members Club. Thank you for joining. And what do you think of Christian Falk, head of sport build, saying that we've got 269 million? Seems unlikely, but significant funds is interesting. Well, I'm going to talk about that a little bit later on in the 8 o'clock show, Joshua. So I'll keep that back a little bit. But what I would say is that if the same journalist who says that we've missed out on Bellingham says we've got £270 million to spend, suddenly I'm a little bit optimistic that the Bellingham deal might not be over yet. But look, I don't know. But I certainly don't think that we've got that amount of money, because if we did, why would we not spend 49 million on the bargain of the summer? And let me clarify who the bargain of the summer is. Timo Werner is the bargain of the summer. He is worth as much money, if not more, than Havertz and Sancho. Not combined, but if Havertz is worth 100 and Sancho's worth 100, then so is Timo Werner, because Timo Werner's different to them. Timo Werner's a goal scorer. So they are always worth more. So they're worth 100 million each, and Timo Werner's available for 49 million pounds. He's the bargain of the summer. If we had money to spend, why would we be extending a Garlo to the middle of the season, who is 31 and has hardly played for us at all, but wants to play for us, over a player that's kicking balls into the back of the net in one of the best leagues in Europe and also is one of the best strikers in Europe? Why would you not do that deal? I think it's a fantastic deal by Chelsea, and I think it's the signing of the summer, because Sancho will be the signing of the summer if we do it, But the signing of the summer also has to be based on ability and price. Sancho we will pay top dollar for. Werner is an absolute bargain. What do you think about the Dele Alli situation, says Ernesto? I'm not, you know what, I'm one of the few, I'm in the minority here. I don't think that Dele Alli being out of the game against United is really something to be excited about. I don't rate the player anyway. I think that actually there might be more of a threat without him, because I just think Dele Alli plods about doing nice little flicks. Yes, if he gave him a chance on the edge of the box, he might score a goal, but so might I. You know, he's not a player that drives forward with the ball, goes past players. I don't think he's got intricate passing. I don't think he looks, you know, he normally gets himself booked very, very quickly. I think Dele Alli and I would openly have a conversation about Dele Alli and Lingard and who's the better player. And people will laugh because as United fans, we know Lingard's had a dreadful 18 months. But I would still have that debate about who's better. That's how highly I rate Dele Alli. So I don't really care that Dele Alli... Well, I do care. I wish he was playing. I think there's more chance that Spurs could bring in a player that's better, like I think a Lamella, or obviously they've got Song and Bergwijn. I mean, it solves a problem for Mourinho now, because if Son and Bergwijn are both fit, and they've got Lucas Moura as well, any of those three are better than Dele Alli, and now he can probably put them in the team without having to drop Dele Alli, who he doesn't seem to want to drop anyway. I think that the sad thing is Mourinho loves Dele Alli, and we've seen with Mourinho that the players that he tends to love in his latter career tend to be a bit crap, like Fellaini. I think Dele Alli is basically Mourinho's Fellaini. He would never drop him. But I don't rate Dele Alli, and I never have. So look, people saying you're wrong, that's an opinion. I don't rate Dele Alli, and I never have. See, James says Ali is way better than Lingard. I don't rate Dele Alli. I mean, look, and this goes back quite a while with Dele Alli. I think he had a very good season in the Premier League. But you know what really hit me was when we were in the World Cup semi-final and our midfield three was Henderson, Lingard and Ali. And I had this moment. I went, how the hell do we think we're winning a World Cup with that midfield three? It's crap. And Henderson was good. Henderson was probably the star performer in that three. But the other two, I was just like, you can't win a World Cup with Jesse Lingard and Dele Alli. Look at France's midfield. Even look at Croatia's midfield. And we're trying to win a World Cup with Dele Alli and Lingard. It just... And they were playing quite well then. But I mean, look at them now. But they're just not good enough. Mark, how confident are you of signing Sancho? Says Abbas. I mean, I get asked this almost daily. I'm not going to move... I'm 7 out of 10. Which I think in a transfer, 70% is quite high. I mean, 50-50, you're flipping a coin. So I'm above 50-50. I think at this moment in time, 70% sure. But you know what? Ask me in a month's time, and if we're not getting top 4, that will drop down to about 30%. So it's going to be very interesting over the next few weeks. Do you think United will make top 4? Says Tessie. Yes, I think we will make top 4. I actually think we'll make 3rd. I heard somebody saying last night that Leicester would need to drop 10 points out of 27 for us to overtake them. Which shows what a big ask it is, I agree. But I do think that we will get 3rd. I certainly think we'll get top 4, but I think we'll get 3rd. Van der Beek to Man United would make us much better than having Grealish, says Mr. Beast. And would you get Joshua King from Norway? No, Mr. Weiberg, I wouldn't. I think that would be a terrible signing. And I would worry about the relationship between United and agents if we did sign Josh King, knowing that Josh King's agent is very linked in with Solbakken, who is very linked to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and you start to think, why are we doing mates rates deals? Because I think Agallo's agent's very close to Solbakken as well, from what I'd read, but we shouldn't be doing those sort of deals. We're Manchester United. If it's a stopgap thing like Agallo, fine, but if this is a longevity building forward thing, why are we buying players that we've got good relationships with their agents? We should be buying players that are best for Manchester United. Do you think Barcelona or Manchester City go, oh, he's our mate and he's managing that player, let's go for that? No, they don't. They go, who's the best player in the position we can get in world football? And that's what United need to do. Mates rates and all that are great, but we need to do what's best for Manchester United. Cooking with Goldbridge, Rayan, is out today. It's going to be out at 1 o'clock. It's my favourite one. I didn't think it would be what we're doing today, but I ate it last night after I cooked it. I'm going to cook it again tonight. It's absolutely banging. So if you want to check that out, it'll be at 1 o'clock. I've dropped a link in the video description for you to subscribe to that channel if you're interested. Something very, very different. Check it out. Link in the video description. It's out at 1 o'clock. We've also got going out at 2 o'clock. You're going to be spoiled today. 2 o'clock, a brilliant video. Absolutely brilliant video. analysis of Bruno and Fernandes. Well, I can't even tell you even too much. It's just very, very good. So that'll be out at 2 o'clock on this channel. So make sure you subscribe. And we'll be back at 8 o'clock live tonight, of course, for Friday Night Live. Yeah, have a good day. Skriniar and Maguire, says Craig. I like Skriniar. I don't think it would work. I think, again, you'd have a lack of pace. You know, if you're going to go for Skriniar and Maguire, I would stay with Lindelof and Maguire, because the big reason, I think, long-term, Maguire needs somebody else next to him that's not Lindelof is I think he needs some pace. You wouldn't get that pace with Skriniar, so no. Thanks everyone for watching. Have a good day. I'll speak to you later. 1 o'clock, link in the video description. 2 o'clock on this channel. Please subscribe. Thanks for watching.